Luxury Radio, Nigeria's first real estate radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your girl Black Debbie, and I'm live here at the South End Event Center for the biggest event in the city of Asaba, Akaroku 3.0. The first one was amazing, the second one was spontaneous, and this third one, trust me, it is exhilarating, titillating, and a whole lot more entertainers. Professor Julius Ogedemi has got a whole lot under his sleeve. We have amazing performances tonight from Abdul, Akparo, Minister Uche, MT the Break Camp, and the Poor, and so much more. If you're not here, I'm so sorry you're missing a lot, because it is the Akaraku 3.0. Yeah.
Secondly, I'll call him the drill master. And when you say someone is the drill master, you always have something on his sleeve to unveil. So you can never underestimate what Professor Julius Oyedemi can still do. Has this love for people. He's a giver. Oh my God. Amazing man.
You don't suck. You the actor.
Man of the moment. Man of God. But if it's not him in Asaba, nothing is happening. This is the only man that can single-handedly shut the whole of Asaba City. And everywhere will be standing still. We call him the Goro Master. The Ababola King. A man that Odogu. Everybody for the wallet. A man that turned the whole place.
Julius Oyedemi, it's a game changer, though I call him a pace-setter. I enjoy so much the level of energy that he brings on board. Prof has changed the narrative in the real estate industry, not just in P1 but in the real estate industry, and I have personally been affected by his wealth of wisdom and his innovation.
So much more about
I think you summarized it. You summed it up. It's basically the story of unmerited favor.
wow.
Grace. You just know that yes, you are hardworking, but not do you work past. No, now you did it.
Sugar, melody, sweetie, sugar, honey, the melody like honey. Oh, by the way, many be like butter. Oh, by the way, many be like butter. You don't get juju.
This is Cedarwood Luxury Radio, Nigeria's first real estate radio.
All right, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria's first real estate radio, Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio. My name is David, and it is such a delight to come your way this morning, bringing to you the Morning Delight Show. Yes, trust you had a wonderful night rest, and hope your Wednesday morning is going fine as planned. Beautiful highlights there of how it played down. Friday last week at the Akara Oko Night of Comedy and Praise event. It was such a wonderful one, an event that PBOs, realtors, and everyone in that beautiful city of Asaba looks forward to. When it comes to innovations, when it comes to great ideas, when it comes to something that no one has done, when it comes to uniqueness and extraordinariness, you can always trust the Cedarwood Luxury brand. You can always trust my professor, my guy at the top, the man himself, the Ojoro Master. All right, the Morning Delight program comes your way every morning live on Facebook and on YouTube. Every Wednesday morning, it comes your way every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. It brings your way diverse conversations. Yes, social, political, foreign, local, international. It brings your way literally diverse conversations, and this morning we have quite a few things to talk about, and you can also be part of the conversation either watching live on Facebook or YouTube. First of all, I'd love to know where you're watching us live from. Tell me where you're watching me live from, and do not forget to like, to comment, and to share so that everyone around you will be part of the session this beautiful Wednesday morning. If you're just meeting me for the very first time, my name is D to the A to the V to the I, your very host with the most. We'll begin the show quickly this morning by taking or hearing from you. Yes, let's know where you're watching us live from, what is happening in your environment, what is happening around you. It's the Morning Delight Show, baby. You're very much welcome. All right, 7 minutes past the hour of 10. We'll begin our very first conversation this morning. I'm going to start off quickly with what trended yesterday. Yesterday. Quite an unfortunate incident that happened yesterday. Now, let me quickly read from Sahara Reports. Just give me a few minutes for the story to load fully. Okay, let me take it from me here. All right, it says here, while I wait for my system to load, let me just quickly take this from my phone here. Okay, so Nigerian Army Major General escort brutally assault couple for overtaking their vehicle, attack female partner for recording encounter. Now that's a video. It's quite an unfortunate incident that occurred, that played out yesterday, exactly 19th November. Now, let me see. Okay, yeah, I have it here. And the funny part of that conversation was the fact that quite a number of people had a lot to say about that. Quite a number of blogs, influencers, including Sahara Reports, Rufai Oseni, and quite a number of other social media influential people. So it was a conversation that was, will I call it a conversation, or it was an incident that went viral. It went viral. It was literally, it was reported by quite a number of people on social media, tagging Nigerian Army HQ Nigerian Army. The Twitter handle of that is, yes, HQ Nigerian Army, tagging the Nigerian Army social media Twitter handle. And the best part of the conversation, or the best part of that incident, was the fact that this same account came even in the midst of that particular incident, to post an event without mentioning anything, without addressing the issue, without acknowledging the fact that they have been tagged severally. So they won't say they didn't see that post. At least, first off, address the issue. Oh, it has been drawn, our notice has been, our attention has been drawn to an incident that occurred with so person, and the Nigerian army or whatever it is, investigation will be carried out to ascertain the whatever, blah, 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 and everything. But no, they did not. They did not. Oh, they came out to post a flyer, or they made a post on a MGA, which is African Military Games Abuja, performing live the band opening ceremony. And that even caused, it even brought about more annoyance. People were like, what is going on? There is a case on the ground that you have been tagged. People have drawn your attention to a particular issue on ground, and you did not actually respond to it, but you came out to post an event that the band and whatever will be performing live. Opening ceremony of an event. But the good thing is, 3 hours ago, as I speak to you, now this was yesterday. When it happened yesterday, they didn't respond to it, and they came up with the stage is set and the legends are coming for the opening ceremony of AMGA 2024. But then at the end of the day, 3 hours ago, like I said, a post was made 3 hours ago, and I read, acting chaos orders investigation of viral audio-visual report on allegation of brutality by Nigerian army personnel. The attention of the Nigerian Army, NA, has been drawn to a viral audio-visual recording circulating on social media platforms, purportedly showing a senior army officer and 2 other soldiers in an altercation with a man and a woman within the Abuja metropolis. The circumstances leading to these incidents are not clear at the moment. However, the acting chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has ordered an immediate investigation to unravel the true circumstances surrounding the altercation. The NA, which is Nigerian Army, remains committed to serving and protecting all law-abiding Nigerians as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Therefore, we urge the public to be rest assured that due diligence will be applied to reach a logical conclusion on this matter. And somebody says business as usual. You know, I trust Nigerians. They'll be like, oh, so you wanna just wake up. All through yesterday, when I just wake up, Abi. Trust Nigerians on that, and trust Nigerians in disbelieving that, okay, in believing that something will be done, it's just going to be business as usual. They will investigate, and at the end of the day, nothing will come out of the whole activity or the whole thing. Nothing will come out at the end. You see what I'm saying? And then also trust Nigeria to have funny things to say, and you know, people also started posting other videos of army assaulting civilians or citizens. But where am I tilting this conversation to? It's not for the fact that they responded nearly 24 hours after their attention have been drawn to that particular incident. But the fact that, number one, will investigations truly be carried out? Will those responsible be brought to, face some form of justice or some form of accident? And then number three, why is it a common thing in Nigeria that citizens, for whatever reason, will go through assaults? Not just from Nigerian army now. The police and generally uniformed men. It is always like that. Why is it so? Are there not due, what's the word now? Are there not due process? Is there not a normal process to maybe punish offenders or whatever it is? If if you ask me, now who I go ask, I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about this via the comment section. Have you faced any form of brutality either from Nigerian police or Nigerian army? Can you explain? Share your story with us. Let's hear from you, and let's just talk together. Let's just talk together. Let's share our own experience. Your experience of police brutality or brutality from uniformed men, probably the army or any other thing. Let's hear from you. And what do you think should be the right process, or what do you think should be done in order to, in order to put this to put our wonderful, beloved uniformed men in check? Not just to, embarrass and assault people because they are on some form of uniform. I mean, if you take that uniform away from them, they are as ordinary as the common man. The only difference between you and that uniform man is the uniform that he is wearing. Am I right? I might be wrong. I stand to be corrected. But then, let's see how it goes. So let's talk. Now let's move on to our very next one. We're pressed for time. The thing is, when I get to discover that I have so much to do, time begins to run. I don't know why it is like that. You come and say time they fly. Now, Okowa's arrest. How many of you have been following up on the Okowa's arrest that started up 2 weeks ago? The Okowa's drama and everything. All right, so Okowa's arrest, let's talk about that. Now, from the angle of the fact that EFCC alleged, Okowa's arrest, EFCC, now I'm reading from Arise News, okay? EFCC alleged 1.3 trillion fraud allegation can never be substantiated. I'm not the one that said that. It was somebody that said that. Let me tell you who the person is. Now, before that, let me just read this out. All of these allegations are pretty spurious. The total amount of derivation funds is about 2.65 trillion naira. Diverting 1.5 trillion naira will mean diverting 50% of the money. It's clearly not possible and out of the character of the former governor. The EFCC have been writing letters to Delta State government to verify that projects and to verify what projects these allegation forms were attached to. I dare say they have been very satisfactory. Dr. Kingsley Emu, SSG of Delta State, speaking on Arise TV. It is so amazing how money, make I use pidgin English, it's so amazing how money they miss for this country. Money they miss anyhow. Now, the other day, I saw a video or a post on social media. Was it, I think, from one of these news outlets, either Punch newspaper or so, of, I think, 3 young men that was arrested for internet fraud and was sentenced to prison for, is it 30 years or something like that? Is it 30 years or 3 years? Something around that 3. And then when I went through the comment section, somebody said, Yahaya Bello is still somewhere and has not been arrested yet. I can go on and on and on and on and on to mention names. That is Nigeria for you, and that is politics for you. You see that deep breath when I just take? It just stopped me from saying a whole lot. He stopped me from saying a whole lot. That breath alone, that when I do, it just stopped me from saying a whole lot. Let's leave it at that. If we can arrest internet fraudulent people and sentence them, why is it difficult? Or should we say, is it easier to arrest citizens who are being found guilty of some form of allegation or some form of crime, arrest them, take them to jail, justice and all that. Is it much easier to do it on civilians than the politicians? Are you pondering what I'm It's the Morning Delight Show. Yes, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Let's hear from you. Let's join the conversation this morning. It's quite an interesting one, all right? Now, we're going to take our first video for today. A funny conversation I came across. Yeah, a funny conversation with Bola, a one-time critic of current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a one-time critic of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He had a wonderful, I use the word funny, controversial conversation with Sheung of Arise TV. It's about 9 minutes long. Let's take that conversation, and when we return, we'll see another video from President-elect Donald Trump of America, and then we'll proceed from there after that. Let's go.
From decadence. So the question I'm asking now is whether or not you believe in the presidency of today, because I mean and that's why I started my conversation with you asking that you are a Christian minority from Borno State.
Yes, sir.
And you once said the reason why you stopped believing or supporting Bola Tinubu is because of the Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
And as your philosophy about the Muslim ticket, because nothing seems to have changed. Has it changed now?
Are you having what we call father time? You have asked me this question before. We trashed it here.
No, we need to trash it because you have now taken up the responsibility to officially speak for the president.
So for your training
and for the I mean, I can speak for what my training and for what my industry deserve and the Nigerian people deserve. It would be at the service to the average Nigerian person if you are not able to clear when you are in now your official capacity. At Daniel Bola, we had a conversation about your ideology and philosophy to wanted to support Bola Tinubu now. But now that you are taking an official responsibility, you have to also clear the air and lift up the burden that you have placed upon yourself.
What kind of,
and now the question, I mean, you have said that the reason why you stopped supporting President Tinubu is because of the Muslim ticket.
And when I made a decision to support him and you asked me the question, which I have cleared.
So now so you can now work with a Muslim man that took a Muslim
When I made a decision to support him, which I have been supporting him from January till this time, what was I doing? The only difference between then and now is the official tag.
You can be supporting someone, but working with them is another kettle of fish.
I have never believed that if you have the capacity to support someone, you will not see the need to.
You told me on our last interview at that time that you have a love and affection for Bola Tinubu as a person, but you disbelieve in the stand of the APC of a Muslim ticket. So the question is that it's still the Muslim ticket. Your man from Kashim Shettima, who is the VP, is from Borno State. President Bola Tinubu is a Muslim, and they have not denounced their religion. Have you denounced yours?
You know why I'm smiling? This is what I do for a living as a lawyer, where we cross-examine people. You change style, but you ask the same question which you have asked me in January and I've answered. So my reply to this will be asked and answered.
No, it has not been answered as of this moment.
Then recall it on your TV whether I have answered or not.
No, the question is that we are in the moment. Your status at the time and now are totally different.
So my response
do you still believe that a man, a vice president and a president who are both Muslim of the same religion have the moral standing to run a country?
I adopt what I said before as my argument and I rely on it.
Are you running away or dodging away from answering the question?
No, you see, you have the infrastructure, you have TV, you have the same way you use that time in recalling past. Recall that question you asked and how I answered it. I'm not prepared to give energy to those things that would distract us from what the president has asked us to do. Let me tell you, it's not about Bola, it's not about people. The minute I start answering questions that were asked and answered, and then it creates chains of questions, then I defeat the very purpose of my appointment. I am now talking about myself instead of talking about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That is if those questions are being reinforced over and over again. But this is our first conversation since you assumed office, and which is today.
Yes.
And I'm asking, because you are in your official capacity, can Nigerians believe you that this Daniel Bwala and what he said some months ago during the campaign, can they believe you when you speak for the president?
If you ask this question 100 times till tomorrow morning, my answer will be the same.
But what about those who think that you don't have integrity?
It is their right.
But do you have integrity?
It is up to you.
No, it's not up to me. You are the one that you are in the chair, Mr. Bwala. Do you have the integrity to speak for a president whom you heavily criticize and that is not fit for office based on his religious standing on a Muslim ticket?
Asked and answered.
You have not answered it.
No, I've answered it. You've asked me before.
You know, the reason why that is different is now you are a Nigerian public officer.
It doesn't change.
And you speak to the Nigerian people
yes.
right now. It's different from you as a private citizen. You have the onus to be able to speak. The onus on you to be able to tell Nigerians truthfully that this is what has changed about you. Is this the same Daniel Bwala that worked with Atiku Abubakar?
If I took mango before I became a spokesman, the nutritional value I get from the mango does not change because now I'm a spokesman. Asked and answered.
So you don't want to talk about that?
Anything that I have answered before, I don't want to regurgitate on that.
Even when you said that even if you give Bola Tinubu 30 years, nothing will change.
Asked and answered.
You're dodging away from the question.
I'm not dodging away. You've asked before, I have answered.
Are you worried about those who think that it is unfair for someone like you who heavily criticize and they fought you on television and radio, like Jesu Tega on Okwaza? And I could play to you some tapes of what you said during the campaign.
So you have those tapes, but you don't have the tape of the previous question you asked me, which I've answered.
Why would I play a tape of you when you are right here and you can answer the same question?
But why are you going to play this one that I said before?
Because you are now the special advisor.
What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
No, I'm a professional in this job.
I'm a professional in responding.
You are a lawyer.
And so, that makes it even stronger.
So the question here is that, Mr. Daniel Bwala, how are you able to speak to the fact that there are some those who have a very difficult time believing and agreeing that you've gotten that job instead of them, and they were the supporters that saw Bola Tinubu win that election? What would you say to them tonight?
That's an opinion. They express their opinion. I can understand their feelings. I can understand their pain. However, the president of the Federal Republic decides who he wants to work with. But more than that, if you trust the judgment of the president to govern Nigeria, if you're progressive, you trust that this president is exercising good judgment in policy decisions, is exercising good judgment in governing, you should respect his judgment in choosing who he works with. I'm talking about if you're progressive. You may have a genuine reason why you think you are not taken. I am not going to sit here to say somebody doesn't have a reason why he has not been taken. But Bola is not the reason why you are not taken. There is this thing we call transferred aggression. Do you know that not long ago, the wife of late Odumegwu Ojukwu was appointed? Was she in APC? Certainly no. You remember when Bosun Tujani was appointed? Was he in APC? No. So you see, the president, in my view, because what I did was I knew what the president's philosophy was. That's my understanding from my discipline of training, where they said if you are appearing in the court, study the demeanor of the judge, study the mind of the judge, and prepare your case on the basis of that. From President Bola Tinubu, even when he was a governor, he was operating on the philosophy outlined in that book on Abraham Lincoln. If you read that book, for those of the people who have not read, I will encourage them to read. When Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, he ceased to look at the political party from where he's coming from because it is the American society. But he was also faced with so many problems. I said it the last time I was here. There was the, economic sabotage, the printing and the minting of the American money illegally. There was slave trade. There was fighting over supremacy. Federal government was not able to galvanize them. And so when he looked at it, and all of them had their respective leaders and sentiment, he felt, and he came up with this philosophy, you can only fight one war at a time. You can't fight all. So what he did was, let me galvanize everybody together, national consensus, and let's hit the ground running. Now, I am not the only subject of the decision of the president that touched on people probably outside APC and the rest. Remember, Mr. Shewun, you have practically interviewed me for 8 years before the election, consistently defending APC as an APC member. My credential is in your hand. You will call me when I'm driving, I will pull over. I'm doing sports, I will stop over. That is how I defended. So I'm not like a newcomer. I've only been away for like 7 months. But everything is boil. They have their reasons. Some of them are sponsored. We know those who are sponsoring those things. But like I told you, I have made up my mind. I have refused to put fuel on a distraction, because you can imagine me talking about things that have nothing to do with the policy of the president now as his media aide. That means I am now discussing myself rather than discussing the president. So I leave them to their opinion. They can feed on it. They can build a house on it. But I am committed to focusing on.
Okay. Meanwhile, now you've heard that. I'm trying to. Oh, I closed it. I'm trying to get the names of. Can I find it? Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to look for the a particular video where someone said President Tinubu is making a lot of mistake. That is when it has to do with reshuffling his communication team. I'm trying to get the names of those people. It was on Arise TV. I was watching it this morning, But then it's all good. All right, so let's move on. Let's not take so much time on that. Now, you've seen how this is not the first time how politicians go on TV, on radio, and just try to, hey, see this one killing himself, and just try to dodge, dodge questions and just try to manipulate and maneuver things. All right. Moving on quickly, before we take the next video, yeah. Now, someone posted something on social media. I'm just gonna take insecurity in the southeast. Now, this is from Igbo. This is from a handle on X, Igbo, with the name Igbo History and Facts. All right, it says insecurity in the southeast. The southeast governors contribute immensely to the insecurity in Igbo land because it will help them rig election. Dr. Nemeka Obierari. Do you believe that the insecurity? The other day we saw a video, I think it was on Monday, a video that went viral of a vigilante that was killed and one other man that was seriously injured by some gunmen who was trying to enforce the sit-at-home order. And I don't know what happened. I think it was in Imo or Anambra State, somewhere like that. They came and they shot one person dead and the other man was seriously injured. Now, this very Dr. Nemeka Obiarari is saying the Southeast governors contribute immensely to the insecurity in Igbo because it will help them rig election. Do you believe this? I mean, what is your very take on this very one? Is it true or not? Moving on, I saw another very, very funny post. And this is very, very funny because this is somebody with the name Prince Savior. He made a post yesterday saying, "It has never been this bad. Wait a minute. I'm still a citizen of Nigeria or some other country. Am I still a citizen of Nigeria or some other country I don't know about? How can the official media account of the Federal Republic of Presidency be blocking citizens who criticize the government? Is it not funny? For the president Tinubu blocking me, I don't care. But the presidency is not owned by any individual. It's only owned by Nigerians and Nigerians government and Nigerians government. Nigerians and Nigeria's government. Now, when the official media account of a government body like the presidency blocks citizens for expressing criticism, it raises serious issues about our democracy and freedom of expression. Here's why. Number one, the presidency belongs to the people. The office of the presidency is not a private entity. It is a public institution. It exists to serve the citizens and not to silence them. Social media accounts associated with public offices are funded and maintained using taxpayers' money, meaning they should be accessible to all citizens, irrespective of their opinions or criticism. Freedom of speech is fundamental. That's number 2. A democratic government must uphold the right of citizens to voice dissent. Criticism is not only a right, but also a crucial mechanism for holding leaders accountable. Blocking individuals who criticize policies or actions undermines the principle, fostering an environment of consensus. Just imagine me now. Okay, you can imagine, and he posted a screenshot of Nigerian government PR, RP. Okay, NGR president has blocked you. And then the next screenshot was Bola Ahmed Tinubu official handle blocking him in a country where the official account of the country is blocking the citizens and the government or the governor of the president himself. Okay, the president can actually block as a president, but does it make sense at the end of the day? Do you think it is fine? So, for instance, as the head of what's it called now? Program coordinator for Cedarwood, and I'm here and I'm blocking people so somebody just comes in the comment section and say, oh, the show is this, blah blah, and just criticize Cedarwood Luxury Radio, and I block the person. Or let's say Cedarwood Luxury Radio social media blocks somebody for criticizing. This is what it means. How can the presidency, that is a public account, block its fellow citizen, and the president of the Republic of Nigeria block his own citizen for criticizing him? You ask me, now who I go ask? We'll take our very next video quickly, and this time around, Donald Trump has quite a number of things to say, and he has been trending ever since he was elected president. Trump pledges peace and to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, and urges both leaders contact him to meet immediately. Watch.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear-armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting this sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I am the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
We are unified by our spirit that God made and our connection to the Creator and the universe and our children. And this is the genesis point of the new revolution of information.
I will always believe and I will always say in public that Alex Jones is the most extraordinary person I've ever met.
I'll tell you, that f***ing guy is right about a lot of shit.
Alex Jones has been right a lot of times.
Alex has been right on for over a decade.
Fluoride, just like Alex Jones was saying, not good. It's crazy.
The real war's here with the globalists and Soros and Obama and the New World Order and BlackRock. They've declared war on us and we accept the challenge. We're taking the country back.
AlexJones.network is tomorrow's news today.
InfoWars can be shut down in just a few weeks. But regardless, the fight continues at AJN Live on X, the Alex Jones Network.
All right, so yeah, that's it. That's basically... we look forward. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that unfolds, all right? Okay, yeah, so Alex... that video was actually from Alex Jones, and we just had to move on. We couldn't take more of that video, which had so much of analysis and all that concerning that very statement. Okay, now, yes, that is that for that. So we'll keep a closer eye on that and see how that unfolds. We look forward to a point where there's just peace in the world. What's that song now? Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. We're saving our world. Okay, so. All right, we'll take our very last video, which is a documentary video, and depends on the time that we'll have. It's going to play from now to the top of the hour. Yes, this documentary video is on the cabal. This particular documentary video we're proud to present to you talks about the cabal that owns Nigeria. Watch, learn, and be, I wanted to say inspired, but... So just let's just take a look at this very one.
There is a secret cabal that owns Nigeria.
Only people who can accept the pain of rigging.
They call themselves stakeholders, but in fact, they are more than just that. This group operates in the shadows, pumping money and human resources to politicians, helping them win elections in both legal and not so legal ways. Sometimes they keep up appearances, fraternizing with people in power, people they consider to be their investment. I want to tell you their story, a story about these investments and how far the investors are willing to go to protect what they consider to be theirs. This story will reveal to you why elections in Nigeria are filled with so much violence. This is a story about godfathers and their chokehold on the Nigerian state. I hope I don't get in trouble with this one.
Now, the people of Okikono Anene from 1960 have never produced a senator. I used my hand to strike out the name of the person who won before, and I said it is important for me to give that region a senator in 2007.
Now let's pause here for a second. Imagine being able to create anything, from a cyberpunk story about robots escaping the Matrix to an epic exploration of the world's most incredible wonders, all with just a few simple words. Now check this out. Make a 1-minute video of the story of a robot in a cyberpunk setting that wants to escape the Matrix.
There existed a robot named Nexus.
And if you happen to love history like I do, you may want to make a YouTube video about the 10 most incredible wonders of India. You could have a 10-minute video inside. Want to change anything? Just ask. If you want to add your own voice, you can do that as well. Just to life, faster and better for everyone. No waiting, no in the first month for their current version. I want to take you back in history to this ancient city in the southwestern part of Nigeria called Oyo State.
I started my political career in 1951.
This is the late Chief Lamidi Adedibo, the strong man of Ibadan. He was involved in Oyo politics from the 1950s up until his death in 2008. During the reign of this man, often referred to as the godfather of Ibadan, it was said that nobody assumed any political post in Oyo State without Adedibo's approval. That was how powerful he was. But Chief Adedibo didn't just stumble on this political power. His dynasty started from the days of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Some reports claim that he got his start as a small-time organizer of political thugs for the Action Group Party of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. However, by the late 1980s, he had amassed so much power that politicians were beginning to seek his blessing to run for office. This political capital he had gathered was often through a combination of patronage, violence, and extortion. Soon enough, Adedibo would become an icon for aspiring political godfathers all around Nigeria. In fact, Adedibo once told Human Rights Watch that he sponsored all of the politicians in Oyo State, from the governor to the House of Assembly members. Every single one of them went through him. But what does this sponsorship mean? Well, according to the politicians that have fought with and against him, Adedibo would usually mobilize violence and money in support of the politicians he supports. Having built an army of dependents that are usually seeking one favor or the other from him and are always in his house for arms, Adedibo was able to command these people to do his will anytime he wanted them to. Remember how poverty makes people open to manipulation? This man had a lot of poor people at his beck and call. Adedibo's style of campaign was to threaten people with machetes to come out and vote for his candidates. He was also known to use blackmail, violence, and intimidation to get his way all the time. Little wonder then why he was able to keep every politician in the state in his pocket. Now, the one time a sitting governor tried to defy him, this happened.
He's collecting 65 million naira a month as security money. Am I not entitled to 1/4 of that every month? Yeah, that's what you are not mentioning 60. No, I don't want anything from him. He should go away.
It all started in 2003. Rashidi Ladoja had just won election as governor of Oyo State. But his victory in the polls was largely due to the support of Adedibo. When I say support, I meant Adedibo helped in providing the muscle needed to rig the election in his favor. However, once Ladoja was in office, he tried to break free of Adedibo's influence. And this would be the beginning of a long and bitter war that led to lots of destruction in Oyo State. According to Ladoja, Adedibo wanted access to the state treasury. He alleged that Adedibo ordered him to turn over 25% of the government security vote, roughly 15 million naira per month, directly to him. Ladoja also refused to allow Adedibu to name the commissioners who would serve in his cabinet. This was reportedly one major part of their agreement before the elections. In response to these allegations, Adedibu described Ladoja as an ingrate. According to Human Rights Watch, the former state governor of Oyo State, Kolapo Ishola, confirmed that it was normal practice to consult Baba Adedibu on appointments, patronage, and contracts. By failing to do all of that, Ladoja practically signed his own death warrant. He started from the State House of Assembly. By August 2005, the tensions between Governor Ladoja and Adedibu had caused the State House of Assembly to split in two, with a majority of 18 out of 32 members publicly supporting Adedibu against the sitting governor. As they fought for control of the state government, the House was now divided against itself. In late 2005, seeing that the governor was not willing to play ball, the so-called G18 of pro-Adedibu lawmakers started the process of impeaching Governor Ladoja, a process that quickly turned violent, with one of the pro-Adedibu lawmakers reportedly stabbing his colleague on the floor of the state legislature when the first impeachment attempt failed. Some lawmakers were said to have brought out guns and fired into the air to ward off attackers from the opposing camp. Guess what? All of this happened in the presence of security personnel, and the police made no arrests. About a week later, armed policemen escorted the G18 lawmakers to the State House of Assembly for a second try at moving the impeachment motion. This again resulted in an hours-long gun battle between men of the police and armed thugs supporting Governor Ladoja, who sought to prevent the pro-Adedibu legislators from entering the House. Eventually, the G18 legislators broke into the locked House of Assembly and voted on their own to constitute a panel of inquiry to investigate allegations of misconduct, including corruption, against Ladoja. Also, moments after the vote, a very large group of anti-Ladoja thugs stormed the government house, looted and destroyed the governor's office. Again, the police made no arrest in connection with the sponsorship of any of this violence. 3 weeks later, the G18 voted unanimously to remove Ladoja from office, replacing him with his deputy governor, who happened to be one of Adedibu's loyalists, Christopher Alao Akala. After all the drama, Nigeria's Supreme Court reversed the impeachment in December 2006, calling it illegal because Governor Ladoja's removal was not supported by the required 2/3 majority of the legislature. As the Ladoja-Adedibu fight for control over Oyo State was raging in the southwest, another powerful power broker, this time in the southeastern state of Nigeria called Anambra, was enraged in a brutal war with his mentee.
This guest house you see have produced not less than 3 or 4 governors in Anambra. Here is my government house. Here is the seat of power, where I produce governors, where I produce House of Rep, where I produce senators in this house.
This is Chief Chris Uba, a very wealthy man from the powerful Uba political family. Chris Uba was at the peak of his power during the 2003 elections when he sponsored PDP candidates and rigged their election into office across Anambra State. In fact, he bragged about being the greatest godfather in Nigeria, stating how that was the first time an individual single-handedly put in position every politician in the state. Among the politicians Chris Uba sponsored in 2003 was PDP gubernatorial candidate Chris Ngigi. Now, what you're looking at right now are copies of the terms of their relationship. Here, this guy prepared a written contract and a declaration of loyalty that the governor Chris Ngigi signed prior to the election. In one of the documents, Ngigi promised in writing to exercise and manifest absolute loyalty to the person of Chief Chris Uba as, quote, my mentor, benefactor, and sponsor. He also agreed to allow Uba control over all important government appointments and the awarding of all government contracts. Looking at these contract papers, you will notice something interesting. The contract referred to Governor Ngigi as the administrator, while the unelected Uba as, quote, leader/financier. But that is not all. The contract empowered Uba to avenge himself in the way and manner adjudged by him as fitting and adequate, in case of any breach by Ngigi that could not be settled through mediation. After this agreement was signed, Uba swung into action, pulled all the plugs he could to rig Ngigi into office, and he succeeded. But just like Governor Ladoja in Oyo State, Chris Ngigi tried to break away from Uba's control once he got into office. According to Ngigi, from the moment he assumed office, Uba was constantly on call, demanding he take money from the state treasury and give it to him. Ngigi also claimed that shortly before his inauguration, armed men broke into his home and forced him at gunpoint to sign a pledge that he would pay Chris Uba the sum of 3 billion naira immediately after assuming office. When he could not meet up with these demands, relations between Ngigi and Uba deteriorated rapidly. And by July of 2003, a shocking story broke in Nigeria's newspapers. Governor Chris Ngigi was kidnapped by armed policemen and forced at gunpoint to resign, that is to sign his letter of resignation. Chris Ngigi believed the situation was all orchestrated by Chris Uba in an attempt to extort money from him. When he was confronted with all of these allegations, Uba dismissed them as completely false. However, Ngigi's resignation letter was happily accepted by the State House of Assembly. Despite these lawmakers knowing that the governor signed the letter under duress at gunpoint, one Anambra State legislator would later admit to Human Rights Watch that at the time, most members of the legislature were in bondage to Chris Uba in much the same way as Governor Chris Ngigi. Remember, this man had bragged about putting every politician in the state in their position. So, when he needed to use them to remove a sitting governor, it was an easy one for him. This is what politics in Nigeria is all about. Unelected men and women trying to hijack governments and impose their will on the people. Political offices being reduced to mere business interests for some powerful underground players, often in the shadows, dictating what should and shouldn't be. Ngigi successfully petitioned to have his resignation thrown out by the federal courts, and he remained in office but quickly found himself in trouble yet again. In 2004, thugs armed to the teeth with firearms and some locally manufactured bombs attacked Anambra State Government House in Awka and burned part of it to the ground while policemen stood aside and watched. Sounds familiar? Well, during the Anambra State crisis, an estimated 24 people were killed. This is the number we know of. There could be more not reported on. In his defense, Chris Uba told the Human Rights Watch that Governor Chris Ngigi breached their agreement. In his own words, quote, "I spent a lot of money to put him there, but I never asked him for my money back. Ngigi was trying to be smart, trying to run the government on his own. The problem is Ngigi, being a politician who did not invest 1 naira, not even 1 kobo, wanted to run away with everything and not even share 1 appointment." He concluded by saying, quote, "The problem is the immunity the governors are having. You spend your money to bring them into power, and they say, quote, go to hell. It should be just like investing in a bank, and then you have the power to make some decisions because of your controlling shares." This statement was attributed to Chris Uba. Yeah, he said these things. To Chris Uba, politics is just business. Sponsoring the governor is like buying a controlling share in the state's treasury. And this is what godfathers see when they throw their money at politicians. When they do all they can to win elections, all they see is a bank whose controlling shares they have just acquired. But how far are they willing to go to protect their assets once these puppets get into office? Well, you're not ready for this next part. When it comes to collecting what they feel is theirs, everything is on the table. You see, godfatherism has been reported to be one of the root causes of thuggery in Nigerian politics. and the main reason why the government has failed in its attempt to fight cultism in our society. During the 2007 election.
All right, so yeah, so basically, that's just basically the message behind that a particular video is just the effect of godfatherism in Nigeria. They call themselves cabal, they own Nigeria, and they order the things and how things should go. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time. We promise to bring you another exciting show next week, Wednesday, same time, same station. Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio, live on Facebook and YouTube. It has been a wonderful time. We'll be back again at 1 p.m. And this time around, we'll be having the Real Estate in Nigeria program. See you again.
The 5-kilometer Okpanam Ibuza Link Road has since been commissioned, a landmark progress that has contributed to the development of quarters on its corridors, one of which is host to Heartland by Cedarwood 6. Sold out and with multiple plots allocated, Heartland by Cedarwood 6 is at 60% development level, and some subscribers to the estate are erecting their mansions already. As a brand, we are glad that our effort at providing affordable property options across locations is yielding the results anticipated. Hence, we invite you to take advantage of our current selling offers across locations. Visit www.p1plus.ng for details.